Good evening, everyone. It is time for the April 12th, 2022 Management Committee agenda. I appreciate our in-person guests, and I appreciate all the folks joining us online tonight. We're going to get going. Tonight we do not have any invited guests. I want to start by welcoming Mr. Andy Freeman, who is our new general manager, who's been on, would you say, a week and 2 days?
A week and 2 days.
A week and 2 days. And before I say anything or let him say anything, I want to thank some people because the club went a little over 30 days without a general manager. And I want to commend our managers, our employee managers, and our employees and our management committee. I don't think we had a hiccup. It went very well. Again, our managers in maintenance and security and food service and the office manager all did an excellent job, Andy, and the management committee did what they needed to do to help, and we appreciate the help from Chaz and the board of trustees. And I'm not saying we don't need a general manager, and I'm not saying it could have gone longer, but it went well. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Andy, do you have any report, or you want just to get kicked off?
We can get kicked off. I just do want to thank everybody for this opportunity to be here at Hideaway Hills as the new general manager. It's been a week and 2 days, and I just want to thank the employees and members and board trustees and the other committees just for a warm welcome and getting started on this kind of new assignment.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will start with finances. Ms. Julie, would you like to report on any financial reports we have now?
Well, our capital fund is at the 433,498, and the depreciation is at the 404,882, which we're taking a close look at, what we have out there, upcoming expenses, and making sure we're all on the same page there and got those all prioritized. So keep you all posted on that. We have 1 month of financials for 2022. Actually, everything looks good. Compared to our budget, our income is up, mostly based on our monthly assessments. And those are timing issues. Mostly what you're going to see in the month of January are timing issues, things that either didn't come to fruition this month, but we're going to have to pay them down the line. Our expenses were also $57,000 better, but again, those were expenses. Majority of them are expenses that did not, that we're going to get later. So, but we're right on budget at this point. Then year over year, our income was down a little bit from last year, and that was based on our assessments being down and this is January to January. Again, we have 1 month, down 11.3, but our restaurant income was up about 8.7. So overall, 4.7. Our expenses were up. Well, as our restaurant income went up, so did our expenses. So we are a little bit worse, 14.1 worse than a year ago. But again, if you recall, a lot has changed in a year. The other things that have gone up have been our professional expenses, utilities, equipment repair. So overall, 1 month in, and we're looking pretty good. So.
I don't think this year we can probably look at year over year very well.
No.
It's going to be a different animal, and I think we're budgeted well to handle it, but
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where
Very
we're
good.
looking.
Very good.
Any questions on the financial? And it'll get, as we get a couple more months in, and we'll share a little more with the membership once it kind of clears itself, and we'll go from there. I believe it's probably too soon for her to be doing any fund transfers. She's still
She's still working on those.
she's still
Yeah.
clearing. what we like to do is make sure that our cash position is where it needs to be before we start transferring funds out of the operating budget into our other buckets of the depreciation and the capital and those things. And Penny does not want to get us short of cash, so she does a good job of that.
Yeah.
So we did have an e-vote that we did after the last meeting. If you remember, we voted for a security pickup, and then, of course, the way supply chain and prices are, the price of the truck went up between the time of the meeting and the time I was able to contact the dealer. So we voted to spend an extra $1,200 for that security truck, and now it's gone up again, so we're going to talk about that. So I'm not sure we even need to confirm that vote because it's kind of gone away. We're going to hold off on that, and so we're going to have to re-vote the whole thing. So we'll not confirm the e-vote on that because we got to start over. We have 2 expenditure requests. So we've got, first is the UTV for the golf course. Steve, would you like to, and I'm not sure what, you guys been working this one out a little bit?
Well, I kind of explained to them what we got. I'm going to keep one of them, and I'll give you guys one of these. So through the process, we found out that we didn't have an order that was coming due for delivery in March of this year. We had some wires crossed someplace, so we had to go back into the bidding process on this again. Units that are coming in now are either already spoken for, paid for by people, waiting for them to be delivered. So the only way that inventory comes in is when a dealership would get a extra unit that comes in on a truck because there's space for an extra unit. So we have an opportunity here. We originally had spec'd out a 2-row seat, a 6-man cab, if you will, side by side. Availability on those is really, really low and tight. Ordering now would be months in advance, and that's, plus, as we found out on trucks, that date could even go out further. But what we were able to get a hold of was one of those surprise units that come in on an extra order up to Pony Motorsports. It is only a single seat. We've talked with Rick and Elmer and everybody there. They feel that they can go with the single seat unit. Originally, when this started late last summer, early fall, they were okay with that at the very beginning of it. So I do have a bid here on the table. This is a unit. It is currently sitting there right now. I have unfinancially backed but spoken for it, and they're holding this for us. So, and again, single seat unit. It is a Kawasaki Mule. It will have the full cab on it. The price is going to be less because we're putting a cab on a single seat instead of a double seat. It'll still have the winch, the snowplow mount, the heavy-duty springs, and everything that we spec'd out on the original one, just being a 2-seater. This one comes out full tax title, put together, labor for putting all the parts on at $22,551 and 37 cents.
And it's not camo.
And it is green, not camo. Yeah, we had an opportunity. We had an opportunity and chose not to spend an extra over $2,000 just because it was camo, because it made absolutely no sense to us.
Andy, does this fit in with?
Yeah, we had a discussion when I first started here a week ago. And,
Long time ago.
Yeah.
a long time ago. But I think that this is what we should jump on and do.
And Steve, by a single seater, you mean it actually seats 2 people, but it only has one
Or 3
row
tall people,
seat.
one bench
row.
seat in the front.
Yeah, or me.
Yeah.
I would squeeze in next to you.
Well, they never thought of a time where they would need to have 4 or 5 people in this riding around anyways. And then it sometimes will just become a place to put stuff, and then, so. And I told them if they needed more cargo space, I think this is a little bigger bed than what they were, but I said if they get into a real job for this thing to where they're picking a lot of stone, they're picking up whatever they're doing, that at that time we could entertain and look at a heavy-duty ATV trailer to pull behind this would also dump, but it wouldn't be something that'd have to be there all the time. and it considerably lost, because I think the difference between the two-seater, the single row and the second row on the original bid we had was $6,000 difference, so we can buy one heck of a trailer for that, or a lot less than that, if we need it.
So I'll make a motion that we buy this.
I second it.
So it is moved by Marty, seconded by JJ. Any more discussion, any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and that is available and we can,
I will contact them
excellent.
and take care of it. Obviously, they're gonna have to put it through the shop to put everything we want on it. They haven't done that yet, but I'm sure they'll work it in as quick as they can.
Okay, next on the list, get this working here. Lodge and pool electrical updates. And Marty, let me find my copy of that.
Yeah, so, with all the work that South Central's been doing out here and everything, that this is the right time to look at upgrading the services in here. And as part of that is splitting off the pool from the lodge on that. And so ultimately, that's the goal. And so what I've got is, there are several proposals from Area Energy and Electrical, who Jim Schmidt's company that he works for, to put this together. So there's several pieces to it. One of them you'll find in there is a proposal for $13,591, and it talks about lodge or the electrical layout and things like that. So this is to cover the investigation, engineering, and to develop the one lines that's needed, and that basic engineering to complete off the applications for South Central. So applications were submitted last fall, but there were questions on it. They never got back to the right people to get answers on it. And so it kind of lingered, and I just don't have any time to go do that. So when I talked to Jim, we get somebody to do that. So that's the one proposal in there for $13,591.
And so it looks like that's going to have a full electrical design of the building. So
It's part of it.
Part of it, yeah.
That's part of it, yeah. So
Right.
that's the initial part, to get the one line, to do all that, to go in and actually get, a drawing of the building, because you have to incorporate the architectural aspects of that too.
Okay.
So that's all part of that, the investigation work that's involved in it as
And
well.
then they go in and calculate how many amps we're using in each room, or does it even?
Yeah,
get that
they'll set up a
detailed?
design,
Yeah.
yeah, and, there'll be certain panels that are getting replaced, and, like the age of the equipment in there is pretty old and can't get parts and things like that.
Okay, so that's the first one.
That's
All
the
right.
first one. Then there's another one that addresses the immediate needs, and that's the one that references basement electrical repairs in the lodge building.
Yep.
And it's got a price on there for $14,268. So this is a time and material estimate on that. And that's to go ahead and replace and rewire certain pieces of the building right now, because they're the ones that are, in the worst shape. And in order to kind of get things moving on that. They had a guy out here a couple months ago working over in the office area when they had a problem. And so out of that, we found even more issues up in the ceilings and everything. So this is to go ahead and correct those issues. So those are the first two that really looking for, approval tonight on those to move forward on those. The other ones are for the continuation of the engineering for the lodge building, which is another $13,591 on there. And then there's the engineering work for the pool building, so that we can split that service out. Because right now, everything for the pool and actually the amphitheater comes out of there too, but all comes out of the transformers that are out in front of the lodge. And so part of all of that is to go ahead, put out the layout where the new transformers are going to go, you know, the panel design that's going to go out there, make provisions and look at things for future expansion, like adding in a generator, you know, so the automatic transfer switch and things like that, or to design it. This is for no, aside from the basement work, no material in these quotes. This is just engineering to get us to that point.
And we don't need to wait on any design to do the basement repairs, so that can jump on as soon as it, okay.
Yeah, we can just jump on that and get that taken care of.
I did not download the pool one. How much was that?
That's just a little over $9,000.
Okay. All right. I must have missed that one.
Yeah. Sorry, my copies are kind of cruddy too. So. Anybody have any questions on any of that?
So just a comment that this lodge is such an important building for us, and we do not want to have any electrical issues that could cause us to have a fire or cause problems. So I think this is I think this is necessary. So I would like, I think we can put these as a package. Do you want to hold on the pool, or you want to put them all?
No, we could, if we could do them all right now.
So what do we got? We've got 2 at 13,591,
Yes,
and then we
one at 14,628.
And then
9.
9,084.
Thanks, JJ.
Okay, I've been running. Anybody been running their brain? I bet Sue's already got it.
And Marty, that gets us everything we need, right? As far as the engineering is
Yeah.
concerned.
Yep. Yeah, and it kind of, it'll help, you know,
50,000.
they'll manage that process for us,
Carry
getting
one,
through
did I?
with South
3,
Central
4.
and the work that's gonna occur with them.
Yeah, 5894, 50,894.
Yes.
Okay. Should we go 52 for any, you expect there's gonna be something on the,
I think we could just stick with that.
okay,
You know, and then if additional things, really the only one that would be at risk would be the 14,000 for the repairs in here. If it would go over, but, you know, we'll handle that as, you know, as needed, right? We'll set a change order and, you know, go through that process.
Okay. Very good. Do you have any questions, Andy?
No, I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
I've had many discussions with Rick and a little bit with Marty, so I agree.
And just, I mean, we've already discussed it, but just so folks out there know, this will come out of our capital fund, which is where long-term infrastructure type monies come from. We have a good balance in that fund, but this was unexpected. And so there were items in that may get pushed back because of this, but this is why we do what we do. So thank you, Marty, for looking into this. Can I have a motion?
Motion to approve expense for the electric repairs
Second.
totaling 5893 and change.
Okay, great.
5894.
All right. Steve and JJ again. I tell you what, he's just the second.
The machine.
He is. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. These cleared out of here.
So I guess I know that we need to go to the board for final approval on all of that. But can we, to get them started, they've got time in their schedule with their engineering team. And so we want to, you know, kind of like everything else, right? You got to fit into the schedule. If we can go forward with that, with the repairs as a separate line item, and then the engineering for at least one of them, right? To get them.
The repairs were the 9K.
No, that was the pool. The repairs were at 14,6.
Okay, well,
So that's under,
that's under your guys' threshold. So.
yeah. And then if we can move forward on one of the other ones, I know as a package, it's big, but
Yeah.
each one individually. if we're okay with that,
Yes.
I'll let area engineering know.
Are you good with that? Good. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
And then you'll make mention of that in the
Yes.
management meeting or management update.
Marty, I
And
do
then
have a
the
question.
same for the UTV too. We'll need to make sure we get that in there.
When do we expect South Central Power to have the first phase of that buried?
So we have to get back and talk with them. I know that New River Electric's been out here working on it. And so people are seeing transformers and junction boxes pop up, and, the green boxes on the ground. So that's something that they're going to keep working on. I don't know what their timing is on anything, but I can see if I can poke around and see if I can find out.
Okay.
I know that Rick's been kind of talking to him a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay, thank you.
Just a little history on that. So the power will come through us here and then it goes on further. So this was a major upgrade, not only for us and the members here on the first phase of it, Andy, but it also serves South Central because it's going to cut down on outages they have downstream from here on their electric. So I don't think it's going to be a project they're going to leave us for a year and then come back to us. It was pretty important to them when they
Yeah.
wanted to come through
Yeah,
here.
all the conduits in. So all that work is done. The cable's been pulled. And it's just a matter of setting the rest of the transformers, doing the terminations, and then they'll do their cutover. And then part of that too was that the residents that were served off of that line in that area could have their service undergrounded if they wanted to. There was some costs that they would be on the hook for, but the bulk of it was going to be done by South Central, and all those flyers and all that stuff has been out there. That's all getting coordinated by South Central directly.
Excellent, thank you.
So Steve, just for you, the generator for security, since that doesn't meet what we need to vote on, I just left that down in the discussion because it's really it's more of a operational expenditure below
Correct.
5,000. So that's why.
Yeah,
it's
we were
not-
just looking, and that's why I run the ideas.
Yeah.
We're all clear and on the same page now. We just had an opportunity to save ourselves $700 or $800, and unfortunately, I missed that opportunity. But just to bring you guys up to speed, if you didn't read the emails, and Chaz, we got to looking at the generator. The one we had during our major ice storm was too small. We had some issues with the new telephone system because every time that little generator would cycle, it would bump out the phone system and then people couldn't call into security. And it wasn't a good situation. So we've looked at upgrading to a larger one. And what we actually ran across was a dual fuel unit. And the one that I actually was looking at was propane powered. So on the safety side of it, we don't have employees that are having to carry gasoline, waiting for an engine to cool down and pour gasoline in it to where we could set 200-pound cylinders, and this thing could probably run for a week and they would never have to mess with it. So, purely on the safety side. So that's kind of the direction we're going there. And it was more than the right size, and then we'll get the right switching and everything for them. So we'll get it done here real quick.
Great. Thank you.
What is the heat down there? Electric?
Baseboard heat there, I think, and then they've got that new split unit there in the add-on for the packages. Like there's a forced air split electric in there.
No opportunity to leverage propane tank, obviously.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of, I don't know. I'd like to switch. I didn't have it on expenditures as the pickup because we talked about it. I did have it under discussion, but we may need to vote on that. So I think if y'all noticed, we had a new quote come out for the security pickup. It's basically, I think they took a small price increase out of the factory. And then I think, again, there was a couple extra options that, they're not making stripped down trucks right now. And so total, if we continue with the trade-in, will be 22,415, which again is not much more. I'd have to go back to my notes, but I think it's less than $1,000 more than what we voted on the second time.
Right.
So what I wanted to get back is we kicked around a little bit, not trading that unit in and using that. Is that a possibility for you, or is that too soon to make? What?
No, I talked with Randall and security about it, and Rick. I think that we should go ahead and utilize that truck, just for extra security, transportation, because I'm getting to know the members and so forth. I think that we should keep that truck, get it fixed. And
Mr. Andy,
yes, sir.
if you could speak a little louder and directly towards your microphone.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
all of our lovely members are able to hear you. Thank you. I got a couple
Okay.
Oh, you get a text?
Got a couple requests. Yeah, I asked for a sound check to make sure we were good.
So that would put us at 3 vehicles,
Yes.
because didn't we keep the one we were going to trade in the last time we purchased the vehicle as well, if I recall?
I don't know
I
about
don't
that. but it
remember.
does
So
put us at
I'm
3
pretty sure we
vehicles.
did.
I think so. When we
I'm
got the silver
pretty sure
one,
we
I think
did the same thing
too.
last time too.
And it finally just went by the wayside. Do we have a good estimate on the repair for it?
I think it was, I want to say 4,000.
He is getting a revised because it was out of date, but yeah, it is roughly 4,000. And what this is this is for Andy to get out and about and have a vehicle to be able to drive. And obviously if security needs it, or
Right.
we're gonna take the siren off. We're not gonna let Andy have a siren, but
I didn't know that was part of the deal.
yeah, it's not really. but-
Sell it, he says.
It's a siren.
We'll get you a cat to pull on the tail or something.
Is the plan then to buy an additional vehicle so that price is obviously going to go up over $30,000?
It's 36,292 is what it would be without trade. What this does is it keeps us from having to go out soon and purchasing a general manager vehicle, whether that would be a side-by-side or another used pickup. And you're not gonna buy a used pickup for 13.
Not today.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would like us to look at, and after we do this, maybe because of limited mileage, but a lot of runtime on that, see if there's an availability or an option to go with an extended warranty if we pay to fix it. I think the silver one's 2017, it's fairly new. And maybe look at and put an extended warranty plan on that. A 5-year, $100,000 with a $100 deductible for service repairs. I just bought one and it was like $4,000. It could pay dividends, I think, for us here, because we always seem to have those little things go wrong.
You're talking about in the new one?
Well, consideration on the new one, but possibly even on this other one now, because I feel Andy is going to put some miles on this. He's already shown us he's out and about. He's going to shake hands. He's probably going to play politician, even though he doesn't have to go for a vote here. But it's going to be nice to have a general manager out and visiting with people. And I know that's in his nature and in plan to do that. And we can't have him in a broke down vehicle.
No.
Or having this used vehicle nickel and diming us for repairs down the road either, maybe. Just a thought, just something to look into. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
later.
Well, let's
And-
get some, if you have,
We would have time on the new one because I don't know what their warranty is now, but it's usually probably a 3-year powertrain warranty on
Got it
this thing
somewhere
or
here,
something.
yeah.
So
Did
We'll
they
look into
say
that.
when that vehicle, if we voted on it?
I've got it in an email and it's within 30 days.
Okay.
Um,
I was just thinking about our mowers.
yeah. And you've only been here a week.
Yeah, we've got it, but might not
And
get it this year.
I can talk to the people. I get a couple calls a day on extended warranties, so
Well, yeah.
I'll talk to them for you.
Yeah. Why don't you just surprise
Really
one
good
and
one.
say, yeah, I would like to talk to you.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
That's kind of wrong, but
Thought I
I
had it.
appreciate it.
So we're not making any kind of decisions on like a new truck tonight.
Well, I would like to have that discussion now that we understand what we need to do.
Can we lease it? Is it any cheaper to lease it?
I don't know if we can do that with our rules.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to check.
Because we certainly won't go over miles.
It's a takeaway for me.
Well, and I think going down the road, that's an approach, if we can look at it and stay within our legal bounds on that. As we buy mowers and, you know, you look at a lot of companies, they lease things. I mean, farmers lease their equipment for 3 years now for tax benefits, and you roll your equipment over 3 years. We could get that way with mowers and a lot of other things if we can see that that fits within our legalities here.
You know, it's kind of hard to believe that if that was a viable option, we wouldn't have already done it, but nonetheless, you know, we can look and, you know, it can't be the first time that's ever come up, I would think. But, yeah, it's worth checking into.
Should we, what I would like to do is actually get this thing on the book or get our name on the truck. And whether we do a lease or a purchase, it's still needs to be voted on that we'll move forward with it.
So a deposit, see if they'll take a deposit
Yeah,
to hold it,
They'll
and then
take a
ask them to
deposit,
run a
but-
lease with us, and at least then we could get it and they could talk about it. And who knows what a lease would look like today with everything else the way it's screwed up, but it's an option. I think that's a good.
Yeah. Can't hurt to look.
So we would vote on purchasing outright or leasing outright. We do this, but I do want to get our name on it.
I'll make a motion that we approach the dealership that has his truck coming in, requesting from them how much of a deposit they would require to secure that vehicle for us prior to
It
delivery.
is $500. Okay, so,
So
all right. So
we're
we'll
well
do-
within
we'll
our-
do the deposit. We're.
Yeah.
and
And then we just figure out, we just
Okay,
find out about the lease.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's not a voting. I mean, we can vote on it, so,
well, the motion to buy the truck should be
well, yeah.
eventually, because it's going to have to go to
It's-
them.
Then it's gonna have to go, so.
And in terms of making sure that you don't have to go through another iteration on this, I mean, do we want to do it not to exceed type
Yeah. I
number?
think it would be a good idea.
Yeah, that way you guys have got the lateral movement
Yeah.
to move on it if you need to with the price increase.
So my estimate, and again, I was hoping that we would need to do it not to exceed, my estimate is 36,293. And that was hoping I calculated tax right and so let's go with a straight 38.
Let's make it 38,000.
Yeah. Okay. So Steve, was that your motion? to-
Yes, I beat Marty again,
Second
'cause he
that.
likes to be number 2.
I second
You
that.
talking about me or him?
can.
I can't.
This
I
Marty
know.
or that Marty?
No, that one. I even
That
looked at
Marty?
him when I said it to make sure.
I'll second it.
Julie did.
Oh, okay.
Way to go.
All right, Julie.
Okay, any more discussion?
The United States is called, I should have grabbed it. It was probably a warning.
Should we move forward with getting an estimate for that other vehicle?
I thought Randall already was, but yes, please. do.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a motion, we've got a second, 38,000 not to exceed on the pickup. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, thank you. Back to my,
We spending any more money tonight?
we are not.
Is that enough?
That's
It's gonna
enough.
break the bank in one meeting.
My capital stuff.
We, on the agenda is a silt trap design. We're gonna kind of put that back for a little more study. So we're not gonna discuss any on that tonight. Are we good on the geese mitigation, or do you want to let
I
them?
think we're good.
What that was is there was a request from the beach committee, is that correct? Or was it?
Lakes Committee.
Lakes, to put up some obviously non-lethal mitigation, hopefully with some ribbon to keep geese from landing on and walking on and pooping on the beach. The committee is taking care of the cost, so there really wasn't anything for us to vote on, and we appreciate all your work. And thank you.
Thanks.
We've also got paperwork submitted for the migratory bird destroy permit. In something in reading some of that material, which if you don't have, Andy, I'll get it to you so you're up to speed on all that. It's important that we also show other means, because part of that permitting process says that you will continue non-lethal methods to deter the geese. So whether it's Mylar flapping in the breeze or paper mache coyotes or big white swans floating in the lake. Man, my wife still looked at that for 3 months and thought it was real. She'll probably kill me for that, Chaz.
No
And
comment.
it is an important part that we have to keep up as part of that permitting process. So while some people may think these are not good ideas, it's part of the overall plan. No one thing works, or we just use it.
Yeah.
So it is, we're going to do our best to be better with it this year.
Good.
Nobody likes
Okay, next on the list is the RFID member communication, which you've all looked at and approved. Andy, the only thing we need is we just need to make sure Penny, we need to get a date for when Penny's ready to send out the order forms. So then we can get the dates on this letter and then back up to that. I'm hoping to go live Tuesday, May 31, but there's a whole lot of stuff between now and then. So if you can get with Penny tomorrow and you've got a copy of this and walk through those dates, and you know what, if that isn't the date, it's not a disaster, but we do need to get this communication out. So if she needs to add 15 days, 30 days, that I don't have a problem. I just need to get it out. So residents understand what's going on and
That's good.
okay.
I'll have a
Any
discussion with
other
them more.
questions? I really appreciate, we worked on this document. You guys all had great, I got all the input in, I believe, and so. Appreciate it. Close it. And we have a fitness center update.
Yeah,
Julie.
finally. We will, you'll see email blasts and stuff come out that, for more details, but our plan is that, we will open on April the 30th. You will, folks who want to utilize the fitness center, there will be a key fob for entry. The key fobs are $10. Everyone who utilizes the fitness center will have to sign a waiver. More than one person could use a key fob, but everyone who utilizes the fitness center has to have a waiver. And the person who signs for the key fob is kind of signing, stating that they're responsible for whoever enters with that key fob. So more to come, but that's kind of exciting news. So it's looking good. We've been having yoga classes there every Saturday and they've been pretty full, and so. There it
Good for
is.
you.
Yeah, so finally.
Where do you stand with the review on that waiver?
I got comment from Rex and I'll update it. And then if you want to just see if the board has any thought on. I think I sent
Yeah, I
it.
mean, only because it deals with some liability
Yeah.
clauses and things like that, should we run it past
Okay,
our legal guy.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that all the Ts are crossed and Is are
Yeah.
dotted, so.
and I thought I had sent to you, but should I just send it to the whole board? Would that make it easier if I just?
I can just
include
send it to me.
Okay, all right, I'll send it. We got to make one update based on your comment. So we ran it by the committee on Sunday, and we'll make, I think that's changed. I'll take a look at it, and then I'll send it.
Yeah, it kind of looked like there was, few small changes and
Changes.
things like that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of held off on.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Perfect. So we'll get that to you, and then we'll be good to go.
Great.
So,
Cool. Any questions, other questions for Julie on the fitness center? Okay. Steve, I didn't know if there was anything come up on the first aid possible training for residents, and I didn't know if you'd heard anything. And I guess.
Well, I kinda- Since we have Andy on board now, I kind of want to make sure that he was placed into that. So not knowing, our situations with EMS and fire coverage here, the part of Hocking County, which is most of us, they have a full-time ambulance service, and our closest is down in Laurelville, Ohio, which I'm sure you know where Laurelville is, being a local resident. We don't have to explain that to you. But what we're going to look to, and we've had some conversations with them in the past where they have certified trainers. And we would like to be able to open us up at first. We're due for all of our employees to have basic first aid, and then also the AED training. So that even though they're pretty much goof proof, for liabilities and making people comfortable using these, we're going to look to Hocking County EMS again. I'll look through my cards. Linda might even be able to help me. Contact point for Hocking County EMS. And we can get with their training coordinator. We have purchased, and I was just trying to find in my notes, new AEDs. I think we have 7 or 8 of them now. Due to the fact that we're going to have these available at the clubhouse for golfers. We're definitely going to have one at the fitness center.
it's already up.
We're going to get our employees trained. We're going to see what size classes we have. And then we want to be able to open that up to membership also, because they may be there saving one of their neighbors' lives. And I think if we have that training, and I think everybody will feel more comfortable with it. So we need to get some dates lined up. I can work with you on that, but we'll contact them and see what works for them. And
That'd be good. That just an update too. We had 21 employees last week through Hocking County EMS are now certified CPR and AED training.
Great.
We
so you
just
got
did
it.
that.
Good.
Randall did that. So
Super. That's even better.
and we were expecting 9 and we had 21. So we're all on board.
Good.
Very good. So now we need to look at opening some up for the membership too, and base them on a Saturday or a Wednesday or whatever seems to work.
I
get some sign-up
probably
sheets
make
out.
provision for the pool and lifeguards.
Oh, yes. Good point. So that's all we really have on that. Just
Great.
trying to make it a safer place.
Okay, don't relax. You're up next.
Yeah, no, I saw that. So just a real quick nutshell on the golf course. Some changes, some differences of things are going on now, trying to go towards being more efficient with the manpower we have now. We just recently, in the last month, we've been able to hire another full-time person with, I think, 6 or 7 years of golf course experience under his belt. Somebody that now Elmer is going to be able to release some of the duties that he had to do himself over to this young man. Along with that, we're still looking for a couple part-time employees. We only have one right now. There was one that stayed for a couple days and then we parted company with them. So they are still actively looking for maintenance people on the golf course. Yeah. Thanks, Chad.
It's only been a month. Already trying to put me back to work.
We're going to have the arrival of the 2 new mowers. So we're going to have 3 seats for mowers. For right now, we're just running the 1 mower. So when you get on the course, as spring progresses and rain, I talked to Elmer this afternoon. He just put his first application of fertilizer in pre-emergent weed control on. We've got some rains and we're going to start to see the course really starting to green up even more. I looked at some of it today and it's really looking nice. Along with that, you're going to see some areas of the course that we have looked at and discussed with our golf course superintendent expert, whatever that we had come in. And we're going to see some of the non-played areas on the fairways are going to be mowed at a higher level than what the rest of the fairways were. They're not going to be a foot tall, but they're going to be noticeably different as they grow in. So and it's generally not places where probably people are playing. These things can be adjusted as we go through the year, but Elmer's made some determinations. Probably one of the first changes you're going to see are going to be on 9. After you come off the tee box, you're going to see the low area below there is going to be one of those areas that's taller. And then instead of the big square turn at the cart paths, he started to round that off a little bit more. So it's actually a rounded curve not with a square side on it. I kind of don't care for that one because it seems like my ball finds that corner a lot, but we'll deal with it or learn how to hit the ball straighter. Secondly to that, from the golf committee, kind of an unspoken understanding was, I guess in the past over the years, some of the people made comment at the meeting that it used to be that when maintenance was on the course mowing, working on the fairways or the greens, that the golfers would just bypass that hole and allow them to continue and then double back. Obviously during the day, it's not leak play. And, they said that was just the understanding they had. Since I started playing last year, I've seen where that's changed and where our maintenance people are actually pulling off the course to let the golfers go through. And it's kind of an etiquette thing. I guess where golf committee's discussion was, we're going to maybe ask for that etiquette to come back, be considerate of our workers out there. If you can play around that hole and let them finish up and come back to it, or play 8 holes instead of 9. We're not trying to be demanding. We're just trying to add some added protection for our maintenance workers. And obviously being shorthanded every minute on a mower and doing this work is important. So we want to keep them mowing and not hiding while we play through. It'll get worked out, just asking for everybody's consideration. And then the last piece I brought to them was we looked at golf through the week and erring on the safety of our employees and the amount of work that they're trying to do, being shorthanded and with only one mower. Starting in the springtime, actually, I don't think it'll be this week because we said we wouldn't do it, but starting next week, pending weather, the course will actually be closed at this point from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Tuesdays. And this is going to allow Elmer and his staff to finish getting them trained. It's going to allow him to make better cut moves. It's going to allow him to get the greens in better shape. Another thing is we're actually going to be doing Corriere Irrigation, which is something that's never been done here in the spring. It's going to allow us to hopefully dry out the greens and get rid of some of the disease problems, the big black spots that we saw in the course the last year or two. So it's going to allow us to be able to spend more time and concentrate on those so we can maintain our greens and not have to get into a position where we have to replace a green and actually shut a hole down someplace in the future. So on Tuesdays, at least for now, we're going to do the Corriere Irrigation. This is actually going to be where we're plugging dirt up out of the greens themselves. These plugs will be taken off the green and it'll be replaced with new nutrients and new sand material and seed. So the experts say that if you do this over an 8-year period, you can actually change the complexity of the material of the green and the grass completely in that period of time by taking those plugs out and doing it twice a year. So that's something we desperately need to do because we don't have time or room to reestablish greens, and we're just going to end up losing a hole in a green on most holes, and we definitely don't want to do that. So there was very little heartburn with the golf committee about the Tuesday closures during the day. It was the day of the week that wasn't really had something going on the course. So may not be a permanent thing, but for right now, for the safety of our employees and making a better course for everybody, that's where it's going to be at for now.
Are you ready to have the office communicate that? Probably
I
needs
will,
to be an e-blast.
yes.
Okay.
We should do that. I wanted to bring
Yeah,
it forth
great.
here. And that was, like I say, it's an operational change, but that operational change is not one that is ours. It's made by the maintenance group.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, but it's a maintenance decision.
Correct.
And I wanted that
correct.
clear to.
Yeah,
to
we're
folks that
for it,
We're for it, and this is.
but I
a
wanted to run it
maintenance-
through the maintenance department
a
themselves and then
management
bring it
committee,
forth tonight.
and it's it's our decision to make, and if it's unpopular, it's our decision to make, not the
Yeah.
golf course committee.
Yeah, it's not the golf course committee, it is the management committee. It's made this decision with advice from our management or golf course management people, so.
I'll let you two work out a communication and
Yes, sir.
that'll be good. So, okay. Any other questions on that? Julie's our main golfer. Are you okay? Is there any?
I'm good.
Okay.
I was just
All
gonna
right.
say, you need a part-time worker. My husband can probably work on Tuesdays between.
Between 7 and 3.
I'm gonna say if those two
Since he's
mowers
not
come
golfing.
rolling in here, we're gonna be scrambling for somebody to be sitting there and mowing grass, so.
Well, 7 might be a little early for him.
Thanks for taking the
12
heat
to
off.
3.
me, Joe.
Can you get us an application? Just send Julie an
Yeah.
application.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Andy, I had a spot in here for any general updates. You don't have to take it today, but if you have
I'll
anything.
go ahead and take, 1 minute here.
Okay.
And again, I appreciate this is really, really good. The conversation back and forth, and I like how there is order and there's structure to these meetings.
I thought it was a free for all. That's what it feels.
We are having a pretty good night tonight.
Thanks for
But again, just getting my feet wet. Been here a week and 2 days, almost 3 days. And I'm really enjoying it and looking forward to getting out to meet the members and the rest of our employees and so forth. We've had some great conversations with members already. And I want that to continue. This place is awesome, and it needs to stay that way and get even better. And so by moving forward as a management committee and board of trustees, really looking at, our infrastructure is important for the life of Hideaway Hills. And so I just wanted to say thank you, and looking forward to serving the community.
Very good. Thank you. JJ Lodge?
Put the lodge and the clubhouse together. The new dual taps were put at the clubhouse and the lodge. We now have 4 draft beers available. The HAA lager is now in the fermenter. Scott was here on Sunday, brewing the lager. Salad bar that we purchased is going to have the first run on April 15th. The next thing that the food services amenities group is looking at is an outdoor grill that can be used for concerts and different events at the amphitheater. Job postings. We've posted for a server, a dishwasher, a pantry cook, a host, and an expediter. We've had 4 interviews, 6 other leads, and we're waiting on 1 background check on a server. The Blue Jean Ball was last Friday. It went over well. Looking to add other events at the lodge and the clubhouse as time goes by. That's all we have right now.
Any problems with that larger group, or did we do a buffet on that?
There was a buffet earlier, and then it was pizzas. Well, it was buffet, pizza, and wings during before the actual DJ. When the DJ came on, there were still some pizzas till 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And then there was just finger snacks on the different tables.
Great.
Went over well.
Great. Right. Any questions on the lodge before we hit the clubhouse?
Clubhouse is the same.
Clubhouse is all good. Okay. That is the agenda. Does anybody have anything to add before we do go into executive on?
I
one
I
thing?
do have one thing. I had a member approach me, and I don't know the history of this. He said there was history. He was asking if the maintenance crew could install driveway culverts if the owners pay for the drainage pipes. Apparently, this was done years back. He asked me, I'm asking.
Say that
Yes.
again.
If the members bought the pipes, could maintenance install them? Apparently, they did these years ago.
We did.
Okay.
That is actually the preference because Rick knows how he wants to have the layout and how deep
Mhm.
and what what mixture of gravel and sand and everything works.
I don't believe that's the case. I think that, and Andy, this is something that you probably to look into, but that opens up the maintenance into a contractor and doing all this work. And now one person wants it done, then another one, then another one, and another one. And then they don't have time to go do their work that they're there for. And just like when you buy your house out in the suburbs or in the city, you're responsible for putting that culvert in. You put it in, the size has got to be approved by the city, the material's got to be approved, but the construction is all on the landowner. That's
I'm just
the
putting
way
it out
that,
there.
I understand. No,
it's a good question. It's a gray area, but
I'd love to
I
have
would-
Andy research it,
I
but
would,
I
I would
agree.
look into
And
it.
you know, the thing is, it's one thing when you've got a 1x2 ditch, but we have places here that have a 15x15 ditch, and that's a completely different animal that our maintenance guys shouldn't be doing. Well, if they have to do that, if they turn that down,
Yeah.
it's just a
Yeah,
man.
and you got driveways going all over the place now.
So
I think we'd settle for just members making sure that their culvert pipes are clear of debris, which is a tough enough sell to begin with. You know.
Yeah.
and if you would
But
work
it's
with
wise.
Rick and come up with a study on, not a study on culverts, but on what you guys would like to see done, bring it back. And if Rick has a different, you know, there's been 2 or 3 options thrown out here. So come back with what the club management wants to do and we'll look at it. Yeah.
Sounds
fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess one question regarding that is that if it's, we talk about easements and we talk about, is it on club property? So is that culvert, we maintain the culverts and we maintain the roadways and the culverts, but is it club property that we would be maintaining that culvert as well? That's a.
Most of them are gonna be within the right of way of Hideaway Hills, so it's technically ours, but Rick is your man for that answer.
Yeah.
And that may have had something to do with that decision of why they put them into. Because I know we had the same thing when we first moved down here.
I
That we were
venture to say
told
you're
they
gonna
had. to
Probably
put 'em in.
see 10 different scenarios once you start looking into it. Some of it's gonna be Hideaway Hills property, some of it's gonna be homeowner property. It's gonna probably be all over the board.
Let the member know we appreciate the question. It's a
Looking
can of
into it.
worms.
And
Not a
I'll do the
problem.
research.
It might be a barrel of worms.
Understood.
It could be.
Anything else before we go to executive session?
Anybody?
Gable ends on the.
Oh,
shelter
thank
house.
you.
Oh,
I don't know why I didn't make this. I've been ignoring you.
No, that's quite all right.
No.
Been done before.
Just like to see it happen.
Shelter house down at the dam. Chaz noticed that there's some rot there, if I remember.
On
right.
both ends,
And if
both
we could
gable
just Have Rick take a look at that, get some T111 and or 1x, whatever it takes.
I think it's probably just 1x4 and T111. And, you know, maybe we could even paint it before we put it up. Make it easier to get to or get it done.
So I submitted it. I thought. Okay, so folks, we need to go into executive session. Thank you for, did you have anything? You all good? Okay.
He was just showing another option on the ATV.
Oh, okay. Well, no, but we don't have anybody online.
Yeah.
And we don't come back, so we don't come back. So yeah, so
Yeah.
you're all good.
No
Thank you, everybody. We will adjourn after executive session, but thank you for joining us.
Great shirt. I was trying to read that while you're talking to
That was
Steve.
too. I was pretty rude. I was reading instead of paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your email response you got today?
I still have questions, but I think I'm hearing exactly kind of what I based on the email responses, but I can definitely make an appointment to sit down with Rex and have a conversation about it.
I tell you what, I'll just,